Hey guys, this is Shelly, in case you don't know who I am. And I decided what better place to do the devotion than at the campground. So here I am. To start off with, I'm just gonna go for it. In today's devotion, let me rephrase, is thy will. So most of us, if we've grown up in the church, we can probably say the Lord's Prayer by heart. So me, however, I have issues sometimes. So I'm gonna read it. I'm gonna do King James, which I never hardly ever do, but it's the way that most of us grew up saying it. Our Father which art in heaven, hallowed be thy name. Thy kingdom come, thy will be done, on earth as it is in heaven. That's where I'm stopping, because I'll let other people deal with the rest. This week, we want to not just say the prayer, but we're wanting to break it down for you. And so if you haven't grown up in the church like some of us have, this is going to be the absolute perfect time for you to grab hold to actually how to pray and the kind of meanings behind it. So when Jonathan asked me originally to do the devotion on thy will, it kind of got me going, okay, how do I want to take this? Which way? Blah, blah, blah. His will. So what is his will? I am by absolutely no means a biblical scholar. No means. But I do believe that when you're living a biblical and Christ-like life, you are in his will, doing what he has ultimately called each of us, every one of us, to do, which is to simply make disciples. And you can find that in Matthew 28:19 through 20. His will is perfect. It might not be what we want, but his will is perfect. Even Jesus did God's will, and it might not have necessarily been his will. He said in John 6:38, "For I have come down from heaven to do the will of God who sent me, not to do what I want." Pretty straightforward. So here's the thing. If God put me on this earth for me to do my will, let me tell you a few things. First off, I would be married by now. Definitely. I'd have a couple of kids, 3 to 4 big dogs, like big dogs. I would have the white picket fence type mentality. Not mentality, but the whole, the cute house, the 2.5 kids, blah, blah, blah. I would be an owner of a coffee shop that would have jazz music playing all the time, and it would be a 24-hour coffee shop, by the way. And I would have the occasional moments where I would just randomly get up there and sing myself, because I would love to be a jazz lounge singer. And the things that wouldn't be my will, I wouldn't have gone 11 months of my life without a job, and that being pure mental torture on myself and questioning everything that I ever did when I worked, and questioning why I wasn't getting a job even at the simplest places and all this stuff. I wouldn't have probably ever gone on a mission trip, and I more than likely wouldn't work in the global missions department even, because that wasn't me. I love to travel, don't get me wrong, but the whole mission side of it wasn't me. And I definitely would not have gone through cancer. I probably wouldn't have worked 27 years of camp. And with so many kids that I've actually lost track of how many that I have. And I probably wouldn't have gotten the privilege to lead, worship, teach, coordinate, pray for and with, and a multitude of other things that I've had the amazing privilege to do. Because if it would have been my will, I probably wouldn't have done any of that. But his will is perfect. In 1 Peter 4:12-13, Peter says this: "Dear friends, don't be surprised if the fiery trials you are going through, as if something strange were happening to you. Instead, be very glad, because these trials will make you partners with Christ in his suffering, and afterwards you will have the wonderful joy of sharing his glory when it is displayed to all the world." Peter is talking about suffering while being a Christian. His will is perfect. Sometimes it's not the easiest thing to do. Friends may leave. You might get made fun of and bullied. Parents might get divorced. An abusive relationship. Depression, anxiety, cancer, etc., etc. But with him and being in his will, doing his will, you will be able to make it. Because in Hebrews 13:20-21, it states, "And now may the God of peace, who brought again from the dead our Lord Jesus, equip you with all you need for doing his will. May he produce in you, through the power of Jesus Christ, all that is pleasing to him. Jesus is the great shepherd of the sheep by an everlasting covenant, signed with his blood. To him be the glory forever and ever. Amen." So how has he equipped me to do his will? It's pretty simple. His word. You can literally carry it with you all the time in your pocket with your phone. Just like that calculator that my teacher told me like forever ago that I would never have with me all the time. Boy, have we shown her. Yet here we are, having a calculator, a Bible, and a gazillion other things on our phone. But don't let it just become another app that you have on your phone. Open it. Get into these devotions that are in there. And actually use the Bible. And if you don't want to use it, get into this. My 23-year-old Bible, definitely older than all y'all, and 5 times been duct taped because it's completely fallen apart. Get into the Bible. If you don't have one, seriously, call me, text me, message me on Facebook. I will get you one. And not even one of those like $5 cheap ones at Walmart. I will get you a good Bible. Because that's how much I believe that this word is true. And that this word will take you to do his will. There's a gazillion other things I could tell you about his will. And how that his will is perfect. And I'll tell you a little bit more about my personal. It's hard. It's incredibly hard sometimes to do his will. Because in your mind, you want to do something else. You want to go hang out with your friends. You want to go and just live. What in our mind thinks like is the best way to live. When it's not. And then sometimes his will is making you have to go through things that you don't want to go through. But I am 6 months from my surgery to have removed any bit of tumor left. And when I came out of it, there was no evidence of disease. And I I can say right now I am cancer free. And I would go it all over again if one person were to come to Christ because of it. Because I'm trying to do His will, even when walking through those moments where I don't want to. Even when you're walking through those moments, He's going to be right with you. And if you're doing His will, He'll get you through it, no matter how difficult it is. Because He will never leave us nor forsake us. He is always going to be with us. Even in those nights where we don't think that anybody is there, He is right there with His complete peace. Follow into His will. Follow His word into His will. And I'm going to leave you with a quick little prayer. After asking you this, because I like leaving people with questions. Are you in His will? I hope you are. Dear Heavenly Father, I thank you and I praise you because you are awesome and you are great. God, I ask that you would bring each and every person who is watching this devotion, that you would bring them into your will, that you will be walking with them through the thick and through the thin. And God, I just ask that you would be with each and every one through this chaos of a time period that we are going through, that you would give us strength and comfort. But God, keep us in your will. And I just ask, Father, that soon you will bring us all back together, that we can see each other's faces, that we can hug each other, we can fist bump each other. That God, just bring us all back together, that we can just worship you as one. Individually, we love being able to be in your presence because, God, you can speak to us individually. God, there's just something about when we all come together. And I long for that day. But until that day, again, keep us in your will, in your holy name. Amen. I love you guys. Deuces.